the Greek flavors, and we're coming back to agape. Agape is going to play out a part later. But now I'm going to turn to some of the Buddhist flavors of love, and I learned these from Thich Nhat Hanh. So first we have Maitri. Maitri is loving kindness, and it is the desire, but also the ability to bring happiness to another person. So Thich Nhat Hanh always says, yes, you might have the intention to bring happiness to another person, but do you have the ability? And that means you need to know for this person what makes them happy. And you need to be able to have an understanding of what they've been through in their life if you want to bring them that level of happiness. So then there's Karuna. Karuna is also compassion, but it is alleviating suffering in another. It is again, the desire and the ability to alleviate suffering. So there again, it means being able to really have an understanding of the person and what they're suffering. And you might have an idea of what might alleviate their suffering, but it needs to be what actually alleviates their suffering. So that's Maitri, that's Karuna. Then there's Mudita. Mudita is joy. So mudita is the experience of being joyous, of feeling joy, and of bringing joy into the world. And then there's upeksha. And upeksha, it's either known as equanimity or freedom. And that means that you have a freedom to be who you are, to be on your path. And if you are loving to someone else, you give them the freedom to be on their path, to be who they are. You don't try to make them be something else. Freedom. So those are some of the flavors of love. And one of the things that Thich Nhat Hanh says, he'll give sort of equivalents. So he says, love is listening. Love is understanding, truly understanding someone else. Love is being there, really being there in the moment. And he talks about true presence, and that true presence is the greatest gift you can give to yourself, to those you love, and to the world. It means that your body and mind are unified in the same place. And he talks about how so often our body is here, but our mind is running off hither and yon, thinking about other things. Kind of like a little puppy. So a puppy is like, you see this puppy running around sniffing and sniffing everywhere, running everywhere. So it becomes this practice. This was something I learned from Wendy Palmer, my conscious embodiment teacher, is to say, heel, sit, stay. And so that you can have these times where you're able to bring your mind, that puppy, back into that calm place. And, you know, there's time to be sniffing around, and there's times to come back and be present. So when you're talking to somebody you love and they're telling you what's happening in their life, whether it's yay or whether it's wah or whether it's help or whatever, you want to be there. You want to be present. You want to be sniffing around. You want to heal, sit, stay. Bring your body and your mind there together, present. That's your gift. So coming present is something that I think they practice a lot in some cultures, not so much here in the West. Not so much. We have a much greater emphasis on this sort of future planning and preparing and which have their place. You can plan and be present with your planning. But if you're listening to somebody talk and you're planning, oh, let's see, tomorrow I have to do blah, 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 blah. You're running your to-do list in your mind. Your body and your mind aren't unified. They're not present. So how do you come present? How do you get your body and your mind to be unified in the moment? Well, I'm going to read you. We're going to do it right now. This is a book called The Blooming of a Lotus, Guided Meditation Exercises for Healing and Transformation by Thich Nhat Hanh, who says that many of his students said, hey, you've given us so many meditations and so many practices. We would like to have those all written down, and that's this book. So we're gonna do one right now. It's a very simple one. This is about as simple as you can get here. This is exercise 1 in this book. It's called Joy of Meditation as Nourishment. So yes, I'd like you to sit in a way where you feel supported by the earth. So you want your feet on the ground. You want to feel your body held by the earth. And you want to feel a sense of that, like a tree or a flower maybe that's reaching up towards the sunlight, towards the sky. And then this is going to be a breathing one, and the breath, as you breathe in, you're going to say, breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. So you're going to do it in your own breathing in and breathing out timing. But the breathing in is breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Maybe we'll see if we can do it together. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. And then there's the second part. Breathing in, I dwell in the present. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I dwell in the present moment. Breathing out, I know it is a wonderful moment. And you can also do just a simple one of each one. So the breathing in is calm. And breathing out, smile. Calm. Smile. Calm. Smile. Present moment. Wonderful moment. Present moment. wonderful moment, present moment, wonderful moment. And you can play with that. And you can play with, I'm going to give you several different ways to play with coming present. So that's one. The other is the centering practice that we do in conscious embodiment. So again, sensing the earth beneath you, the sky above you. And this time, as you breathe in, imagine your breath reaching up for the sky. And as you exhale, your breath flows down into the earth. So that breathing up into the sky, exhale down into the earth. Breathing up into the sky, exhaling down into the earth. And then sensing the space around you. And in your awareness is the space behind you. Can that be equal to the space in front of you? Can the space on the left of you be equal to the space on the right of you? Is the space above you equal to the space beneath you? So you there are the center of this bubble of your awareness of space. And then feeling gravity. Feeling your body resting into the support of the earth. And then choosing a quality. And today we're doing love, so you might choose love, but you might choose something else. You might choose understanding or compassion or joy or peace. But as if your mind is asking your body, saying, what if there were a little more? Whatever that quality is, I'm using love now. What if there were a little more love in your body right now? And sensing where that love might be in your body. If there were a little more love in your breath. If there were a little more love in your heart. If there were a little more love in your posture. And if you were to open your eyes, if there were a little more love in your soft gaze. And then my last little practice here is just the phrase, peace is every breath. This is a book by Thich Nhat Hanh. This is a practice of Thich Nhat Hanh. Peace is every breath. And when you say that, it invites you on your very next breath to let that be a breath of peace. When I find myself rushing, when I find myself stressing, when I find myself thinking, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do it, I say, peace is every breath. And wow, in my next breath, I come present. My body and my mind come together. So that practice is the bridge to the oneness of body and mind. My puppy's been boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo, sniff, sniff, whoop, whoop. And I go, heel, sit, stay. And I have oneness of body and mind. So those are some practices that you can play with. This book is full of those practices. And I just want to look at a couple things. I want to look at love for each other, us little beings, us little puppies running around. And that I'm going to suggest that one of the ways to love someone else is to look at the world from their point of view. And their point of view right now with whatever they're concerned about. But know that behind everybody is the trail of how they got to where they are in this moment. Thich Nhat Hanh often says, the present is made up of all the elements of the past. everything it took for them to get to here. All the times that they were afraid or in despair or lost or angry. All those moments. Thank you. That was, Thich Nhat Hanh says, whenever we hear a bell, we come back. So I'm going to come back to oneness of body and mind. So the person has also behind them all the things that made them happy, all the things that felt loving and joyous and peaceful. But they have everything back there. So when you want to understand somebody and be there for them, know that that's there. And you will know some of it. You can ask about some of it. And some of it you just have to know it's all there. So one of the things that we can do that Vicki Lapp likes to talk about is practices of forgiveness, opportunities of forgiveness, she says. And one is to be able to forgive other people. We don't know the whole trail behind them. We'll never know. We didn't live their life. We can reach for that, but that can help us have that forgiveness. The other thing is we can ask for forgiveness. Sometimes we're not mindful. Sometimes we're in a bad mood, or we're tired, or we're hungry, or somebody else just hurt our feelings, or that person did, or whatever it is. So we say something mean, something that hurts somebody. And when we can, we ask for forgiveness for that. And the other thing is what I've been saying all along, which is be present. How many times have you talked to somebody and they're busy looking at their phone? Or when I come home, he's on the computer, or he's reading something on his tablet, or he's something else. Or how many times have I been doing something else while somebody else is wanting my presence? Can we bring ourselves truly present? So now I'm going to talk a little about agape. The Greek called it God's love for humans, and I'm going to call it Creator's love or Spirit's love for you, or the universe's love for you, and you for the universe, for the Creator, for however. O-Sensei, who is the founder of Aikido, says, first, make God's heart your heart. And I think that's just an amazing mantra. And you could just ask yourself, what if my heart was God's heart? What if my heart was love's heart, Spirit's heart? So agape is this sense of love for all of humanity too, because if God's heart is your heart, you have love for the universe, love for what's here, who's here. And some people, some animals are easy to love, and some it requires a little more work at it. And sometimes we catch ourselves up. Jim one time, I said, let's go running on the beach barefoot. Well, that was all great until he stepped on glass and it cut his foot. We had to go to the ER and have his foot stitched up. So out of that, I went, okay, that wasn't such a great idea. But I also said, there's glass on the beach. Other people might get hurt. I'm going to clean that glass up. Whenever I go walking on the beach, I'm going to pick that glass up. What a cool thing, right? Well, what started happening was I started going, who's throwing all this glass? What's wrong with people? Why are these people doing this? And here I am doing this beautiful act, all mad, all angry, all of a sudden I woke up and I went, what am I doing, Cathy? What are you doing? And I said, wait a minute, what's motivating me to pick up this glass? Love. I love people. I want to pick up the glass. Okay, I don't know whatever made them do all that. Well, I don't know. But I'm doing this out of love. So each time I would pick up the glass, I'd go, I clean with love. I clean with love. And it just transformed my experience. And I went back to what I had originally wanted to be doing, bestowing love. So I also want to tell you a story. And it comes from this book here called Being Mortal. Being Mortal by Atul Gawande. And this book is about how caring for, as I'm looking around, most of us, that the people who, as we're starting to get older, is about how we care for our elderly. And how somehow it got put in the realm of medical. And because of that, nursing homes developed that were based on making sure that the medical needs, care became medical care. And if you've gone to nursing homes, you can see oftentimes those people are not living a life where they are feeling fulfilled or meaningful. And so there were a few different people in this book who looked at that and said, something's wrong here. This isn't working very well. What is it they really want? What is it they really need? And there are two people in particular, but I'm going to tell you the story of one of them, who realized that one of the things that people don't have in nursing homes is they don't have a sense of autonomy and independence anymore. And everything is all regimented. Here's, you got to get up now. You got to have your shower now. You got to have your breakfast now. You got to take your meds now. Blah, 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 blah. It's all regimented. And it's not fostering a sense of autonomy or independence. So that's one thing. The other is people need to feel like they're doing something meaningful. So I'm going to tell you the story of Bill Thomas, who in 1991, he lived in upstate New York. He was an ER physician. He and his family lived on they started with a little farm, and it became a big, they had all kinds of animals and farm, and he said he was more farmer than ER physician. But he decided that he wanted to go work at this, the Chase Memorial Nursing Home. He got a job as the medical director. It was a home of 80 disabled elderly residents. And they were disabled both, some of them physically, some of them cognitive. And he got this brilliant idea. He worked there for a little while, and he saw this is not a place of joy. What do we want to do about that? So he said, let's bring in animals. Plural. Animals. And he got his team together, and he laid out the thinking behind the proposal. The aim, he said, was to attack what he termed the 3 plagues of nursing home existence: boredom, loneliness, and helplessness. To attack the 3 plagues, they needed to bring in some life. They'd put green plants in every room instead of artificial. They'd tear up the lawn and create a vegetable and flower garden. And they'd bring in animals. So far, his higher-ups thought, this sounds good. We need some innovation. We like this. But they had tried bringing in dogs before, and somehow they just weren't a good fit. So Thomas said, well, let's try 2 dogs. Now, the head of it was named Halbert. He said, the code doesn't allow that. Thomas said, well, let's just put it down on paper. There was silence for a moment. Even this small step pushed up against the values at the heart of not just nursing home regulations, but also of nursing homes of what nursing homes believe they principally exist for, the health and safety of elders. Halbert had a hard time wrapping his mind around this idea. Here's Halbert describing the meeting. The director of nursing was sitting in the room, the activities leader and the social worker. I could see the 3 of them. This is Halbert describing it. Sitting there looking at each other, rolling their eyes, going, this is going to be interesting. This is Halbert speaking. All right, I'll put it down. I was beginning to think I'm not really into this as much as you are, but I'll put your 2 dogs down. He said, now what about cats? I said, what about cats? We've got 2 dogs. He said, some people aren't dog lovers. They like cats. The he in this case is Bill here. He said, well, let's just put, I said, you want dogs and cats? He said, let's put it down on the paper for discussion purposes. I said, okay, I'll put a cat down. No. We got 2 floors. How about 2 cats on each floor? I said, we want to propose the health department 2 dogs and 4 cats. He said, yeah, just put it down. I said, all right, I'll put it down. I think we're getting off base here. This is not going to fly with them. He said, one more thing. What about birds? I said, the code says clearly no birds allowed in nursing homes. He said, well, what about birds? He said, Bill said, just picture, look out your window right now. What do you hear? Well, you're hearing bird songs. Yes. How many birds are you talking? So, Halbert, how many birds are you talking about? He said, 100. 100 birds in this place. I said, you got to be out of your mind. Have you ever lived in a house that has 2 dogs, 4 cats, and 100 birds? Bill said, no, but wouldn't it be worth trying? And they did it. To make a long story short, they did it. And it's hilarious having them describe it because they he decided, they got a grant for it, and he said, let's do them all at once. Not like, okay, now we'll have the cats, now we'll have the dogs. No, all at once. And the birds, the cages came, they had to be assembled. And so that meant that here's these 100 birds flying everywhere in this facility while they're putting together the cages. He said the residents were laughing their butts off. They were just totally whoa, this is wild. They finally got all the cages and they got all the birds. Well, of course, these residents that had been just The Walking Dead came alive. They loved their birds. People that hadn't talked in months, maybe years, talked. The whole thing was just this most amazing thing. I'll just quote them briefly. People who we believe weren't able to speak started speaking. People who had completely withdrawn and non-ambulatory started coming to the nurse's station saying, I'll take the dog for a walk. All the parakeets were adopted and named by the residents. The lights turned back on in people's eyes. It was just this amazing thing. I call this agape. This is how love can manifest in somewhere, wherever. And I just challenge you. How can you bring, what's your agape you want to bring into the world? And maybe it's just with one small person or one little place or one little something. But what's your agape you might want to bring into the world? And in order to do it, guess what you're going to have to be able to do? You're going to have to be truly present. This guy was truly present. So we're going to practice it one more time. So just take a moment. Sense your breath. Sense your breath. On your inhale, think, breathing in, I feel my heart. Breathing out, I beam love. Breathing in, I feel my heart. Breathing out, I beam love. Breathing in, I feel my heart. Breathing out, I beam love. And you are now truly present in this moment. Congratulations. Just remember, you can go heel, sit, stay. You can say, peace is every breath. You can sense your heart and I beam love. Good luck. Thank you.